This is Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. We infuse, we energize, we inspire, and we empower entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of all stripes in BW and beyond. Dumelang and welcome to yet another wonderful episode of Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. It's always a pleasure to welcome you. The usual shameless plug, of course, is I have a great book, Mogobe Nuggets of Grit, and it's available from both exclusive books and from here in the plaza. And then secondly, another bit of housekeeping, so please do not watch without hitting the subscribe button. That's a prerequisite. Not only that, it enables us to bring top quality guests like the one I have today, and it also ensures that the algorithms with this network, we're able to cope with them and grow. And we've been at this game for 6 years, and the objective is to get as quickly as possible to 100,000 subscribers. So please hit the subscribe button right now. Let me welcome my guest, Dr. Gloria Maseko. Welcome, madam.
Thank you, Mr. Mogobe.
I normally get the ball rolling by just inviting my guests to share their CV, condensed CV, and of course their background.
Oh, thank you. Yes. My name is Dr. Gloria Maseko, and I'm from Sesebe, the northeastern part of Botswana. And my first degree was Bachelor of Science, majoring in biology. I've got a master's degree in gender, and both of this are from the University of Botswana. And then my doctorate, my PhD, I got it from the United States of America, Honolulu, Hawaii.
Honolulu?
Yes, Honolulu, Hawaii, in America. And I graduated in Miami, Florida.
Okay.
Yes.
So what do you actually do? What's your line of work?
Yes, I'm a therapist, and I'm a counselor. Therapist, it means all people who deal with the mind. And I'm a counselor, and it's not only counseling, I also do mentoring. Mentoring, this is where I deal with kids from the age of 5 years to the age of 18 years. Who to look up to, they look up to me. I can even give up people to look up to them in line now with their careers. Yes, after doing a personality test to see which careers they are aligned with. Yes.
Why do you like this profession so much? What turns you on about counseling and, of course, the work of therapy?
Yes, I love counseling. I think basically I was supposed to be a medical doctor, and I realized that you deal with a client and sometimes you never meet them again. And I wanted, a continuity where you see the life of this client changing. And to me, success, it's just seeing somebody's life changing because of how you have impacted on them.
Okay, so, and you've been doing it for how long?
I've been practicing since 2013. So this is my 12th year in practice. Yes.
Tell me about Troxy. Why that name?
Yeah, Troxy. When I traveled to the United States, I would pass through UK, and there was a very beautiful place called Troxy. I said, if I
beautiful in what sense?
Beautiful that it's just decorated. When waiting to connect with another flight, I would just be there having my coffee, having my tea, having my breakfast, and I would be like, I didn't know I would go into business. It's only that when I graduated in the United States for my doctorate, I got a cum laude. And a cum laude, I was the first black person to get a cum laude and the first woman to get a cum laude.
That's what I got for my alternative dispute resolution.
Wow,
so
yeah.
It's
and
exciting.
Then, yes. So after getting that...
Cum laude just simply means she was top of the class.
Yes.
And she was right at the very top. You probably got 95%.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. So when after graduating, they said with this marks, with this they say you're graduating with praise. They said we need to know what you are going to do with the smartness that you got from the US. And they said we are not going to allow you to graduate with a cum laude without showing us what business you are going to do. So I had to bring the company documents. I had to think of a name. Troxy came to my mind. And I had to graduate when they had proof that whatever that I've learned will be transmitted to Botswana, Africa, and the world at large.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. What was so unique about this institution in terms of the kind of level of learning that they wanted you to make sure that you share it with your people? What was so special?
Yes. So that actually for me to win the scholarship, they were getting the best master students in Africa, and I happened to be the best student for gender at the University of Botswana. And I got the scholarship, 80% scholarship. I was paying 20% for myself.
Wow.
Because they were saying people live in the middle because they feel they're not paying anything. So they want you to feel the pinch also that you have spent some money.
Yes.
And
Skin in the game.
Yes, I would say don't ensure that all your degrees are not from one country and one university, because at some time you feel already people, they already know you are smart. I would say if you have studied in Botswana, go internationally. So after going internationally, then now we can really see that your intelligence is authentic, because you've been tested by many people who don't know you. But I realized at the University of Botswana, studying for my master's and my bachelor's degree, there's no dissemination of information. Like right now, we've got a lot of researchers at the University of Botswana, many universities, and the answers to those to the problems that are happening today are in those researchers that are just packed in the libraries. But when you get to the abroad, you find that you get exposure. I got exposure to television because some of the assignments I'll have to do them over television and send a clip for them to mark with them having a translator if I'm using Setswana. They want you to interact. They want you to disseminate your findings to the laymen up to Kotla meetings. Because what you have found should be known to your country.
Wow.
That's the difference that I found. And they give you exposure for different forums.
Okay.
Yes, you go on radio, all the media, see how you are going to address the youth. So when you address the youth, you'll make a gig, because that's the only way they'll be able to listen to you. So you need to know all the ways of disseminating information to the different groups.
Wow.
Yes.
And what was your PhD dissertation about?
Oh, my PhD dissertation was on gender difference in mathematical performance.
What do you mean?
Gender differences, because I used to wonder, what is there a gender that is good in mathematics?
Okay.
Then I had to learn that from my research you could see that the females, they learn through collaboration, whereas males, we think they're good in maths because they can learn alone. So they can learn when they're just alone and understand mathematics. But for women, they need collaboration. This came up to even recommendations that maybe we could have the girls' school where they would have their own learning styles.
Okay.
Yes.
So that was your main finding on your dissertation?
Yes, so that females and males, they learn differently, especially during mathematics.
Okay.
Yes.
And does it mean that one group has been disadvantaged by society because they didn't know this aspect?
Yes.
And how can that be corrected?
That can be corrected either by always, because having a girls' school, it will mean it's a national thing. We could just, in classrooms, to try to put girls in groups when doing mathematics. Yeah, so that they work together and allow the boy child to do soul alone. Then they're allowing them to learn the way they want.
Is this problem only in maths, or it's in other subjects as well?
I was very interested in maths because I could see women were not forthcoming to continue with mathematics up to PhD.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. We go back to Troxy. What exactly are the services on offer by Troxy?
Yes. The services that I provide at the top of the list is counseling. I counsel families. I counsel individuals. I counsel young people. I counsel children 5 years, starting from 5 years, we do counseling. The reason why I expand on counseling is for people to know that I counsel all ages. Because when we studied in the US, you can choose one elective just to concentrate on married people. but I couldn't because of our population. I was advised that you need to do all the electives because your population. When you are going to deal with married people, only small. You'll find one married person once in 6 months, and you can't deal with children because you have not been trained for that. You can't deal with the youth because you have not been trained for that. So I had to take all the electives because of our population.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what would you say are the biggest needs in this community?
Oh, maybe because before going to that, it's not only counseling that I provide, I also do mentoring.
Okay.
Yeah, mentoring is whereby a child looks up to you, or you give them the person to look up to so that they motivate them. And I also do team building, and I can also be taken to be a guest speaker. I've been guest speaker in many forums, and also I do mindset change, which has been trending for the past
because
4
of
years.
the previous president.
Yes, mindset change, and we realize we are moving on with it. Even the ministries are moving on with it because mindset change is very, very important. Yes.
Some say this is the reason why there was a change of government.
Yes, it really helped us to think differently and to know that there's nothing wrong with thinking differently.
And changing things.
Yes.
Now, let me ask you about the needs of the special needs of the group in this community, these groups you mentioned.
Yes.
What you could do is that with married couples, there's the biggest challenge. With children, there's the biggest challenge.
Yes. With the married couple, I would say we don't prepare well for marriage. What we do, we spend all our energy, 90% of our energy, preparing for the wedding. Now, when marriage comes, it's like we are not prepared for it, both financially and psychologically. And all our activities are just put in one day. That one day is a wedding, is the time where you are given the rules.
Those two.
Yes. So we never have time to really prepare for a marriage. We just rushing to prepare for the wedding. 10 minutes and you wonder, did they really, the people who are getting married, did they hear anything, or they just want to go back and do their dancing styles? So I would really say the challenge is that people are not prepared for marriage.
So what should premarital counseling be made compulsory?
Yes, I believe, and the government has made a good move. They are moving at that premarital counseling should be compulsory. And premarital counseling, apart from being compulsory, it should have a time duration. In order to achieve goals, we should have time. Let's say they should be saying you should have premarital counseling. The list should be at least a year. So that you know what you are getting yourself into and understanding the partner you are getting married to. Okay. So our biggest challenge is on preparation for the marriage, not for the wedding.
And how did you discover that this is the biggest problem? How did you notice it?
Yes, during my session, when I analyze, every week I analyze what was the trends that I found in what I was carrying out. You realize that some of the basic responsibilities that are causing conflicts, you realize that if these people have learned it through premarital counseling, that would not be a challenge. Basic things that are taught during the premarital counseling, but you realize or they have no knowledge of it. I'll give an example like finances. Someone will get married to somebody only to realize now when the debts of the wedding come and she says, can you help me to clear these debts, only to find they're already immersed in debts. And they didn't know about that before getting into marriage. That's why sometimes we call it the basics. And they are getting to live with a family that they are not used to. So they didn't have time to be taught how do you live with the in-laws.
So what shape or form will this premarital counseling take, or ideally should it take for it to be effective?
Yes, to be effective, it would mean that the married couple should do premarital counseling before making a decision.
Yeah, but I want to know what form is that premarital counseling. Is it meeting a pastor? going to the traditional
Yes.
parents, meeting someone like you.
Yes.
What form is that counseling to take over a year?
Yeah, I like that. It will mean, I believe in collaboration, that we should work together. It would mean addressing all this is going to a pastor to address the marriage issue spiritually. It will mean coming to a counselor to discuss now the social implications of marriage. It would mean going to the DC itself, the district commissioner, where people are getting married, to see the different kinds of marriages that we have and the disadvantages and the advantages of each of them. It would mean going to the kotla to ask about customary marriage. Understand it more, the implications, the advantages and the disadvantages. It will mean a total research of an individual knowing what they're getting themselves into.
So there would be this whole list that people would have to tick before and satisfy Malawi before marrying.
Yes.
Is that what is going to happen in terms of the new legislation?
No, the new is not like in place. I mean, for people,
what's desirable?
No, what's desirable is they should have met a counselor. There will be also a counselor at the DC who will be available. But to tick all the boxes, to be an advantage, I will allow the client to broaden their mind to understand marriage in a broader concept. Yes.
What about financial education or financial literacy? What role does it play? From the cases that you have seen, what role does it play? Presence of financial education or lack thereof?
Yes, financial education has not been popular in Botswana, and because also of upbringing.
Let's get it.
When we look at upbringing, we'll find that it has an effect on finances. You can imagine raising a pleaser. And the pleaser, when we do childhood trauma and finances, you'll realize these are people whose saving is not in their genetic makeup. Because all the money that they have, they use it to please friends. So imagine now you are married to this kind of person who they will tell you they don't have money to save, but they will have money to entertain friends. So this causes a conflict. I would say most marriages in Botswana is not because of infidelity, it's finances. Finances play a bigger role in divorces in Botswana.
Okay.
Yes.
So you've covered the couple aspect. Now let's deal with the children.
Yes,
what are the challenges there?
Yes. You know, the children, basically you'll find that the children that come is because of low self-esteem and lack of confidence. And these are the two aspects that will make someone to strive in the society of today. And this childhood this things that I talked about, you'll realize that it goes back again to upbringing. The same parents, they want to raise their children the same way they were raised, which made them not to be confident, because confidence was relayed to them in a different way. Having a high self-esteem, so this child now is raised by the same parents who we want this child to have a high self-esteem, but they were raised. So we need to really talk to the parents, while at the same time building the confidence and the self-esteem of the child that is brought before you.
For the benefit of our non-Tswana speakers, Sehakale would be imply what in this context?
Sehakale would I don't know if it would call it a nonchalant person or a person who doesn't just really care who's around them, an open person. Yes.
And when you show confidence, that can be interpreted
interpreted that way. Yes.
Okay. Now, so those are the challenges. Now, apart from children, what about the youth? What are the biggest challenges for our youth?
Yes, the biggest challenges of our youth is that they are not like their parents. Their parents now want them to be what they couldn't be. And with them, they've got weird professions that their parents have not heard of them. I remember one child was a top achiever. She said she wanted to do actuarial science. Actuarial science. And the parents were like, no, doctor, this child is just talking of something that we have not heard of. This child should be a medical doctor. I said, no, but this is much broader than being a medical doctor. Allow her to do what she wants. He said, no, she's going to come here and stay at home without working, because being a doctor, we know she will be coming here to work. And you'll realize from both parents, when you interview them, one of them wanted to be a doctor but couldn't make it. Now they want to push it to the youth.
Project themselves through
their children. And children of nowadays, they don't agree with that. It was not us who we projected our parents through the careers that we chose. Bonne, they will tell you, when I say I'm doing this, I want to do this. Some of them, they will tell the parents, I want to be a dancer. And they're like, you are not serious. I can't be paying school fees of 18,000 for you to be a dancer. And really, the parents don't want to put themselves up with the times. What are the recent and things that are happening nowadays? Those careers of, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a nurse, they're no longer there. So there's usually a clash in the youth and the parents with their dreams. Because now, I have a client who's in the US. She's a dancer. She wanted to be a dancer, and the parents were like, you are joking. Hey, how do we take you to expensive English mediums for you to be a dancer? And she's making more money than you can imagine.
By far.
They know what they want, but the parents feel they don't know what they want.
Okay.
Because as parents of today, we are not updated with the recent professions that are coming up. Some want to be gamers. And the parents don't want to really learn what is a gamer, what are the benefits of a gamer. Yeah.
Okay. I want us to cover some of your case studies, some of the clients you've dealt with, without mentioning their names, obviously.
Yes.
Think of some of the most severe cases, and share with us the before and after scenario.
Yes. I think suicide is the highest a scenario that you would ever have. And I would want to share that, when someone becomes suicidal, it's you die first inside before you commit suicide. So we need to tackle it also differently the way we used to tackle it. During our times when you said you'll commit suicide, parents would say, because they knew you were a generation who would not do that. Nowadays, when these kids say they'll commit suicide, they mean it. We need to take them.
And when you help them like that, they will do it. They'll follow
those steps. They will follow and you'll go to jail because you facilitated, you incited the person to commit suicide. There's a law on that. I think you'll support it. You can't incite someone to commit suicide. So that's the most challenging cases that I've dealt with. But you'll realize that after that person just wants you to make them realize.
Yeah, but have you? What I want to know is a specific case you dealt with, what you did, and what was the result. Without mentioning anybody's name. That's
what I was getting into. That I would just sit down with the client and tell them that they are worth. And let them know that people may be thinking you are worthless, but there's worth in you. One of the miracle mindset game that I use is to compare them to the beans. That the beans, when you eat, before you eat them, you select them. You take the good beans, you cook them. You eat them, it is done with them. They're going to end up in the drainage system somewhere. But the bad beans, you look at them and say, what can come out of this? Nothing can come out of this. They're wrinkled, they're floating in the water. So after that, you throw them in the backyard. You throw them under the trees. But the rain will come. When the rain comes, those beans, they're going to bring more beans that are not rotten, that are in pods. And it's going to give you more bonus of luscious leaves that we call morohastan. The same person who looked down upon those beans, what can come out of here? They're going to say, no, the same person who brought you down, they will come back and say, we made her.
Wow.
We made him.
I love that example.
I love that example. So I tell them, never worry about people who say you are worthless. That's the same people who would want to prove to the world that they made you. Keep on pushing.
They will be celebrating you tomorrow.
They will be wanting to celebrate you and thinking they contributed. Yes.
And how did the patient respond?
And they respond like, no, it makes sense because you are talking about something that is tangible, that I can see, that I know it happens. Then I tell them that, what is going to come out of those beans that we say that are bad is great. Sometimes we envy the good beans. We envy people who their lives just go smoothly. Their parents are very supportive. They are taken to expensive schools abroad. But what is the lesson? What are they learning? How are they going to inspire people? I'd rather be inspired by somebody who went through a difficult journey, because they're showing me that it can happen, rather than somebody who tells me my father gave me 50 billion. I don't have a father who can give me that amount of money, so they cannot inspire me.
Yes.
So I'll tell them, you are going through this so that it becomes an inspiration to the world.
Wow.
Yes. So those are one of the extreme cases that I've gone through. And the other extreme cases that I've gone through is the children needing identity.
What happened there?
Identity, when they want to know who their fathers are. This causes conflict with their mothers.
This is children from a single parent home.
Yes, from a single parent home.
A female-led parent home. Yeah.
Yes. So when they want to know their fathers, it becomes a conflict. It involves even the family members. They feel, why would you want to look for a father who abandoned you for years? It's not about the abandonment. It's about identity. This child wants to know who they are. Lest they marry their half-sisters. Lest they marry their cousins. Lest the worst, they have a child with their father.
Yeah.
Because they don't know him. So if we could just do a favor by telling these children who their biological fathers are, so that they know their lineage.
Wow. So what happened in that case?
In that case, now is the time to educate the parents. That it's not about who cared for who, for how long, from when to when. It's about identity. Everybody wants to know their identity. Yes.
And did you end up facilitating a meeting?
Yes, I end up facilitating a meeting, because in counseling we've got what we call family counseling. Even the child can tell you what are the other relatives that are pressurizing the mother on this issue that he or she is not supposed to know their biological father. Okay. Yes.
All right. What about with the youth on the financial side? What kind of help, what kind of case can you share there?
Yes, the youth, you'll find that really they are into business. They would want to have business. So the best that I can do for them is to look what business they want to get into and attach them to someone who's doing that particular business, so that they learn in hand the challenges and learn directly from somebody who's knowledgeable about that business. So and also sometimes it doesn't also involve the business only, even the career. When a child said, I want to be a medical doctor, you attach them to a medical doctor in Princess Marina City. Then they see to it within a month, like, I don't think I can be waking up at 12. Then you say, but then it's not your career. Yeah, you help them to align properly. And also, like I said, we also do the personality test so that you know which career would really fall with their personality. Yes.
Now, have there been cases where you said to yourself that this one is hopeless, there's nothing that can be done?
I would say there is no one who is hopeless. The only problem comes when you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree. Then you realize you spend the rest of your life thinking it's dumb. They say this, the youth today, they don't say someone is dull. They say it's dumb. We shouldn't judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree. Put it in water. Because most of the students who didn't get 45 points, when I was a teacher before, I used to say, we are not saying all of you will get 48 points. What I'm saying is go and be the best in whatever that you are going to do. If you are going to be the hairdresser, make me as your ex-teacher to travel from Gaborone to go to Muchudi because this student of mine is the best. If you are going to open a car wash, make sure I'm going to move from Gaborone to go to Gabani because my ex-student is there. The car wash is amazing. In everything that you are going to do, be the best.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. I like that. So surely there have been cases which really made you wonder whether there's anything that can be done after making some effort.
Yes.
Has there been such cases?
Yes, there are such cases, and in counseling we've got what we call interventions. Interventions is like you cannot work as just a single entity. You need to work in collaboration. Let's say we are talking about alcohol and drug abuse. Then you should know Bosasnet is there. If my counseling, there's still no difference, then I can talk to Bosasnet. Because you should have a network. You are counseling and you see what now this the life of this person is in danger. Then now you can talk to women's shelter. Help me here to accommodate this woman. Her life is really at risk. So there should be collaboration. You look at this person, the things that they are saying is illegal. Then I should refer them to Mogobe to deal with the legal aspect, because me, myself, as Troxy, being a counselor, I'm not that learned in the legal issues. So there are those cases which you see, if they need experts, so you should have collaboration with other entities.
Okay.
Yes.
I want you to address the issue that I've had in this particular city of slave queens, or a phenomenon where women behave in a certain transactional way towards men, and you wonder why, and you're being told by your sons, my sons are saying it's common that women now these days they are transactional about everything.
Yes.
Some of them would have a man who pays for the petrol, a man who pays for the rent, and then another man who pays for clothes, and they find it okay. How did this phenomenon come about, and how widespread and serious is it?
It is widespread because I believe as a human being you should believe in working for yourself. But we have realized that the way people are brought up, they're brought up differently. Even animals, they've got different groups. We've got carnivores, we've got herbivores, but we also have what we call those ones that will be parasites. So these women, you'll find that they are parasites. They don't want to produce their own things. They want people to work for things, and then they absorb that either actively or passively. But it's not only women, we've got men also who are like that, who would be getting money from women. So it's usually two-sided. From both genders, to say that. And I would say, really, someone should sit down and say, is this the kind of life that they want to live? This is actually using your body for transaction. Is how long will it go? What are the implications behind that? When the other one realizes they are being used for petrol, maybe it's the contributing factors why we are having a lot of GBV. Because there is no relationship, it's just transactional. So it goes back to the girl child, or we can say to the woman, to say, is this the kind of life that I want to live?
Yeah, and how do you intervene in such a case? Have you had any successful interventions there? Yes,
we've had successful interventions in that there's need for education. I usually tell people that before we could do anything, we need to educate people. Because education is like, it makes someone to be open-minded. You ask them, what's your passion? When they know their passion, you ask them, do you know you can make a business out of your passion? Instead of, it can even make more money than the money that you are gathering from men. So why not leave a legacy than to die like a fly for next door when nobody knows that fly is dead or whether it is alive? So
because that's where it's leading to. It's leading to death.
It's leading to death. So don't die like a fly, but leave a legacy where you'll be given as an example to generations to come.
Yeah.
What you do, are you proud of that you can write a biography about your success? That's the question that should come.
And you did concede that it's widespread. What makes it widespread? What causes it in society to be a common phenomenon?
You know, there's no really specific cause that we could say this is caused. Sometimes we say not having jobs, because sometimes you'll find people having jobs and they're doing that. And you ask them, why are you doing that? They say it's because we are living beyond our means, so we are just sustaining that. So we cannot say it's poverty, because sometimes it's even done by people who are not really poor. They are living well. It's just accepting your living conditions and accepting who you are and how you are living, and not to live beyond your means. So there is no specific cause. That there are just many reasons why people are doing things.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it causes me to pause and
Yes.
to wonder
Yes.
what can be done.
Because if someone is earning 50,000 and they are doing that, they could live a life where they're sustaining themselves with that 50,000. But they want to be traveling to Dubai every month. Now it turns like that 50,000
There are
is
such
not
people?
enough. Yes. And they travel with this money they get from men.
Alone or with the same man?
No, they travel there again to make another transaction in those countries. Yeah, so that's the kind of life they've chosen, that every minute they are making money from other people.
Do you have to kill your conscience to be up to that point?
Yes, I think your conscience,
your conscience.
it should be dead. Yeah, your conscience should be dead. That conscious, Nakano, we are saying, not differentiating between right and wrong. Yes.
So how do you resuscitate it? How do you recover it?
Recovering it is you knowing your worth and knowing what you deserve in life, and knowing that you are capable of having the life that you want without harming yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
You and I have sat on a panel together dealing with GBV before, but I want us to look at GBV from a slightly different perspective, where we're not just describing it,
Yes.
but we're just trying to understand sociologically what are the root causes and what we can do to deal with them.
Yes. You know, I usually...
Because it is a pandemic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a pandemic. It's a pandemic. I would say the root cause, hela, when we go back, like we usually say, is that people banyas agenda. People don't take gender seriously. You know, I was saying gender is a discipline on its own. It has a diploma, it's got a master's degree, it's got a PhD. You know, everybody nowadays think they can do gender and they can be in gender offices. That's where I would start. And you'll realize that all the people that have done gender during the time I was doing gender, they're not in gender offices. And those are people who are knowledgeable.
Where have they gone?
Pardon? They are working in different jobs because they could not be hired to do the gender work, which would really be combating this gender-based violence. I'm even one example of that. I graduated in gender, couldn't get a job. You'll hear somebody got the post, but they don't have any background on gender.
Not even the diploma.
Not even a diploma. They will be taken for a 2 weeks course. You can't deal with gender when you talk of 2 weeks course. Then I deviated to do counseling. And right now, the government offices have a gender officer. And I would say all of them, they don't have a degree or a diploma or a PhD in gender.
Even at the highest level?
Even at the highest level. You'll find that...
We won't mention any names.
We won't mention any names. But because a discipline, it needs someone who is learned in that discipline. If not, right now I call 10 of them from the government office and say, what theoretical framework are you operating from to analyze the gender-based violence in Botswana? They don't even know what you are talking about. That means where they feed information, they're not even experts in that. How do you do a job where you are not an expert in that? You have never gone to school for that. So I would say, let's go back and know that gender is a discipline. Let people go to school. In other countries, you cannot deal with gender when you don't have a degree or a master's degree and a PhD. So we need to go back and see people who deal with gender. Do they really know what is gender before we get to GBV.
So you are telling me that they have no clue.
They have no clue. It's like they want to work by researching. They want to Google. You cannot Google answers. Sometimes we need experts who've gone to school. Because when you look at it right now, we will look at it that we have to look at the social design and regenerational theories.
What is that?
You see, and someone will be asking me, but there will be a gender officer. I'm happy because you are a lawyer. Rightfully, you are asking that. Because when we look at social designs here, we are looking at the aspects where now we have to look at how socialization has been happening. There's a lot of deconstruction that has to be done there. And the deconstruction, we start with inequalities.
You mean what?
And inequalities here now, we are starting even with the law. Do you know right now, if a girl has been in a relationship with a man, goes and say this guy raped me, you know this guy will be closed in the bus.
In the jail.
In jail. They have no time to listen to this one. So there has to be deconstruction.
Is it because people have taken a pendulum has swung to the other extreme? People now will say we take any action. Yes,
that's a very good observation, because in Botswana there's a problem that when we want to cater for another gender, the other gender has to suffer. When we say equality, we don't understand that we mean at par. We leave the other gender behind. Yes, and now when we talk about the other aspects, regenerational theories, we are talking about a new perspective in dealing with what is happening in the now. We'll find that maybe we are using old perspective to try and attend to something that is happening. So you need a framework to deal with what is currently happening.
It seems to me, Doctor, you have a pretty good idea of what the problem is.
Yes.
Are you communicating this sufficiently to government or to the decision makers? And if so, how are you interacting with the right people to get the message across?
Basically, I'm supposed to have appointments to talk to them. I'm supposed to have appointments starting February to talk to them. Because like I was saying, new perspectives. We haven't even asked the men, why are you doing this? What we are rushing into is like, we want to see the law taking its course. But have we sat down, which every man that we sent to jail who had caused GBV, to ask them, why did you do GBV?
Are they not given psychological profiling and counseling at some point before they get locked up?
Yes, they can go for counseling, but as a gender discipline, gender office, gender ministry, have we sat down when we have that profiling to say that data to say this, there's a pattern here. The accused number one did gender-based violence because of upbringing. We see it occurring concurrently. That means there's a problem here. Or do we just make sure that they go for counseling, yes, so that their mental health, we protect their mental health because they're human beings. At the same time, they've done wrong, but we care for their mental health. But do we know each case, what caused this GBV? Even if there's beating, do we ever, physical abuse, do we ever sit down and say, what caused this? And we are moving to a point where now Botswana is termed as a violent nation. And this was from January 14 newspaper.
The most violent.
The most violent, because from the December, when it was reported 2 weeks, January 14, it was reported that there has been 100 cases of rape. 100 cases.
In a year or in a month?
From 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
December.
Oh, no.
December ending up to 14. They reported it in 2 weeks. 100 rape cases. And they've been 25 murders. And out of those 25...
In 14 days?
Yes. 10 of them were domestic violence.
Throughout the country?
Throughout the country.
That's terrible.
That's terrible.
I saw it also on TikTok, it being claimed that Botswana is the most drunken
Yes.
Drunken nation.
Yes.
Is there a connection between drunkenness and GBV?
Yes, there is a connection between drunkenness and GBV, because when people alcohol hela yone, it causes a family fights. When people are drunk, they can't reason compared to when they're sober. Yes, they resort to violence. That's why most reported cases of fightings that are reported in places where there has been drinking. Yes.
Ish. So we know the factors, we know the underlying causes. What is the medication? What is the solution?
Yeah, medication, because this theory I was telling you about, the social design and regenerational theory, it talks about action. Let's not talk. Let's go into action.
Yeah, what action?
And the actions that we have to do, like I was saying, let's have people who are trained for the job to deal with GBV. We cannot talk of the people who are helping people saying they are trained when we took them for 2 weeks training. Are they offering the appropriate help? That should be our first question. There should be a cut limit to say, to be doing gender, this should be your qualification.
Yes.
Let Botswana be helped by people who are experts in their job.
Yes, but what is the action?
The action that we need to take again is to go back and ask the men what is causing this, and try to counteract the causes that they reported is causing that.
You already know that it has to do with self-esteem.
Yes.
It has to do coming from single parent homes. We already know that it has to do with issues around finances. There is a pattern, isn't there? So how do you then solve it?
Yes, my problem right now is it's us thinking it's that.
No,
That's
I mean
why I
from
was
the
saying,
few isolated cases.
Yes.
You can't draw a pattern from the few isolated cases you've had.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Jorge. Let's go back to the source and have, when we have them now, when they're from the source. I was giving an example, like when a thief has broken, there's so much stealing, and then we conclude what is because people don't have jobs. It's because people are poor. Only to realize when you interviewed people who are stealing, they say, we are just doing that for entertainment. For entertainment. It's not like
because we are bored.
We lack anything. Even after that, when we get somebody's phone, it's not like we don't have money. We can even sell it for 100 pula. It's not like they need money. We can sell an iPhone for 100 pula. Then we need to go to the deep roots to ask the men, what is the problem? And after knowing the problem, one of my, like I was saying, we've got researchers that are just rotting in our universities. One of my recommendations for my master's when we talked about GBV was we should have gender education from preschool. And I did that research 20 years back. Gender-based violence was not the way it is.
Nobody accepted that.
Nobody even read it. You don't even have a forum like in the United States where you stand to talk about your dissertation and research. You write it, it's marked, you get an A, you move on. Let's make use of the researchers. All the answers are from the scholars. Let's sit down, read those researchers. Let's disseminate information. After disseminating it, let's take action. Research has been done. We do research and then we sit on it. That should be the starting point. And again, after everything that we come about, that it should be counteracting or it should help. Let's act.
Yeah.
Action is very important.
America is not the right place because it's one of the most violent places.
Yes, but their GBV is not.
Oh, it's
low. Looking at their population.
But I mean the gun violence. Whew.
Yeah, the gun violence is very high.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it's not usually related to GBV. It's usually other factors like drugs.
When somebody goes into a shopping mall and just shoots people. Yes. Goes to a classroom, shoots people.
Yes.
That's
mainly it's drugs and other things.
Yeah, it's not GBV.
It's not GBV, but you look at America, it has got the highest population you can even imagine.
Yeah. All right, now I suppose we could pivot a little bit and talk about some of the work you do for corporates.
Yes.
What are the packages that are available and what work do you do?
Yes. The corporate services that I provide is that I have contracts There's what we call a contract. Well, I have a contract with a company. And those companies, what they do, I provide service not only for them, we cover their family. Family, it means the employee of that company, their partner. We are not saying the one who is married, because people will be in relationships, there will be problems even if they are not married. A partner and their children. And then we've got what we call family counseling, where they would come for family counseling.
Does medical aid cover this?
Medical aid, it covers this in other forums, but I'm not registered with the medical aid, because the time they were tendering, I was out of the country. But right now, the medical aid, it's able to cover when you are registered under them. Yes.
Okay.
And these companies, I just take the invoice to them. And the names of the clients that I've consulted is confidential. Only one person can look at that who's authorized to see if the names belongs to their employees.
To verify.
Yes, to verify. Yes. So apart from contracts, and then we could have individuals who would be paying for themselves. So the packages are different. As for corporate services, it's charged per hour. So even those corporate services, we could have motivational talks, we could have inspirational hour, and we could have what we call group counseling, where we talk to employees as a group. Yes. And there's just the package where I agree with the employer, we sign a contract, how much each session would be charging. Yes, and they'll just be bringing their employees the way they want. Other employers, they would say, other employees would have this amount of sessions, let's say 10 sessions, so that it's not usually the same employees who are just coming. Yeah.
What's your track record? This is a chance to blow your own trumpet. What have you done? What have you achieved in that area?
In that,
maybe without mentioning names.
Yes, I would say I was able to draw the biggest companies in Botswana. And also I'll be advancing to end of January, is ending tomorrow. Beginning of February, I'll be having a website where I'll be going internationally. People can book abroad and they can pay with that business.
But what have you done? What are the results?
The results, I would say, they are positive. They are positive because I write a report. I write a report even for individuals that I'm seeing. There's been a great change, and to really not really blowing my own trumpet. My service is just clear. It's just clear. I tell them, you don't pay if you are not satisfied. If there is no change, you leave my office the same way you came in. I'm giving you that session for free. That's my vow.
And most people will feel guilty if they don't pay.
I say, even if you don't pay, the guilt will kill you at home. And you say, but I needed the money to use something. But, I can't even sleep. Because I know that if you don't choose me, you have circled for your second best. And I know that's not what you want. Yes.
Yeah. And of course, it's always intriguing when you look back over a career, because you've been doing this a decade now.
Yes, a decade and 2 years.
Yeah, so yes. 12 years you've been doing this. When you look back to reflect where you may have blundered,
yes,
where your biggest setbacks or challenges have been. So what would you say? Talk about setbacks. And how did you overcome them?
Yeah, setbacks. Setbacks, I would say the most setback and depressing moment for a counselor is when you lose a client. When you lose a client through death, it's devastating. It's like you have lost a member of your family. Because with counseling, you can have a chronic illness, counseling clients who are going through chronic illness, like cancer. And when you lose such a client, it's very devastating because you were preparing them with the doctors in this journey. And when it stops at some point, we are human beings. We get devastated. It's like you've lost a member of the family. You become a family when you are counseling your clients. And the other setbacks that we have is that the time as a counselor, the hours of work can be overwhelming sometimes, where you don't have weekends, where you don't have nights. You are just woken up at 12 and you have to wake up with a smile and serve your clients. They're just saying, we are in the parking lot. we located Mogobe Plaza. We are at the parking lot and your time is 12:59, an hour after midnight.
And
you
if
have
you
to
don't
wake
go,
up.
something can happen.
Our career is not like other careers where you would lie and say, no, I'm in Molepolole, because you know the life of that person is in your hands.
It's at stake.
If tomorrow they are not there, you are accountable for their life and you live with guilt the rest of your life. So I would say the waking hours, we don't have as 7:30 to 4:30. It's just according to the customer's needs and emergencies. Sometimes you don't even have holidays. Sometimes you don't even have to cross the border for Christmas because there are emergencies that are on your table. Yes.
So is there non-stop pressure in the work?
It's a non-stop pressure, but it's not always. But there's that time where there will be so much pressure. Yes.
Wow.
There's that season where it's like it's just seasoned, like, or you try to sleep, the other client wakes you up to say there's an emergency here.
Most of the people watching you are entrepreneurs, aspiring or accomplished. So they want to know if there's money in this profession, whether you can treat it as a business and make serious money. What would be your answer?
I would say before thinking about money, think about your passion. Then money will come automatically. Because if you don't have passion, I'll tell them from 5:30 is my time. And how much clientele will I be losing? So I would say they can steal your procedure. They can steal your style. But they will never steal your passion. So do something that you love, then money will love you back. Yes.
All right, meaning there's money.
Meaning there is money, but money should not be in the forefront. Because if you are not passionate about it,
so as long as you don't put it first, it will come.
Yes, it will come.
So that's something about money. It only comes when you seem to not love it.
Not really to love it. It doesn't come when you are after it. Because you'll be impatient. Patience works.
Okay.
Yes.
But is it the kind of serious money you can retire on?
It's the serious money that you can retire on. I will say that because I left my job to do this job.
Yes.
And to be like full time on this job.
Yeah.
And I would say it's a job which you can't rely on it for a walk-in. Whereby you are sitting in the office and thinking, one person who walks in, I would help them. It's like to build your business first before you leave your job.
Yeah.
After building your business, building your clientele, having contracts, that's when now you can leave your job.
Yeah.
Yes.
You, like me, are a speaker who talks to different audiences. What do you speak on? What is your keynote speech about?
My keynote speech is about motivation. Motivation, where I tell people to define their world. And that's basically what my book is based on. And when I speak of animals in Botswana, they know is Dr. Maseko, especially the eagle, the lion, the deer, the ant, the ostrich, the mother hen. They know. Because I remember one day I went to Radio Botswana, I was having flu. I had talked about the eagle. After 2 weeks, I went to talk about the lion. When I received call, the lady said, I wanted to tell that lady off. I thought it's not you. You'll pardon me this week, I have flu.
Yeah.
So I could say my signature presentations are using animals to motivate.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. All right. On that point, let's talk about an ant. Can you use it to motivate us a little bit?
Yes. Yeah, an ant is an amazing animal because even God says, oh, you sluggard, consider the ways of an ant. Because an ant...
It's in the book of Proverbs. Yeah.
Yes. So an ant, it's amazing in that when it's winter, when it's summer, it stores food for winter. When it's winter, you won't see ants around because they have prepared. So it teaches us that when you fail to prepare, you are preparing to fail. So they never suffer the consequences of winter. And ants, when sugar and salt are mixed, they can pick sugar over salt. It tells us that you should have a discerning spirit to know what's good for you and what's bad for you. Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
this is
Yes.
great.
And hence they follow each other. When they move following each other. It shows us in every forum there will always be a leader who you should follow.
Wow,
Eh.
that is powerful. I really like that, and I'm sure people would like to consult you for 1 or 2 talks. Is this a separate business from the counseling business, or you treat them as one?
It's one business, because we call that motivational talk.
Yeah.
It's there in the contract that we sign.
Okay.
And when I talk to my clients, different clients, even if you don't have a contract, I talk about all the services, including motivational talk. Sometimes we call it inspirational hour.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I like the one about the ego because you shared it with us here.
Yes.
And I want to ask you to share it now.
Yes.
I think the person who wants to hear it must pay first.
Yes. Yes.
Now, let's talk long term.
Yes.
By that I mean, short, medium, and long term. What are the plans for Troxy and the plans for Dr. Maseko?
Yes. My plans is to expand internationally. And expanding internationally, I've realized we learned a lot during COVID, but we don't want to practice it. It doesn't mean being physically there. That's why I'm launching my website where I could work internationally, but still being in any country.
Still get paid.
Still get paid when I'm still in Botswana, but working with people from Canada, the US, Bali, Thailand, Botswana, South Africa, every continent, every nation. I want to leave no stone unturned. Yes.
And how do you, okay, so what time frames are we talking? I asked you about.
Yes.
And are you
With the
planning to get
website-
more counselors and more? Are you going to duplicate yourself?
Yes, really, I think we should leave a legacy, because at some point we would need a replica of what we are in the generations to come. It will mean more counselors who are younger and even efficient in this technology, and they would even help me to even expand even more.
Okay.
Yes.
So time frames?
The time frame, I would say I'm putting it to 5 to 10 years to expand, because
Okay.
I'll be launching, the website will start working in February. So I'll give myself a time, because I want to expand the whole world. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You are a tenant here at Mogobe Plaza.
Yes.
Now I'm asking a selfish question as a landlord. Has it advantaged you to move into the center of the CBD? And if so, how?
Yes, I believe it has really put me into an advantage, because when we talk about CBD, we are talking central business. It's the central place. People now can come from Molepolole to connect to the station and to come here. So it's even cheaper. So this place is an advantage in that it's central to everybody coming from every part of Botswana. When you say CBD, they don't say what is that. They know exactly where it is. Even your prices, when you give them prices, they don't want to negotiate much.
Yeah.
Especially when you say I'm based in CBD, they already know it's quality.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's pricey.
It's pricey, yes.
Yeah. But there's value also.
Yes, there is value.
Okay.
Yes.
Would you now hit me with a question? Do you have one?
Yes, I've got one. I believe you are an inspiration to me, but I usually wonder how you jungle between business and family.
If I tell you, you won't read my book. So go and get it from the book. But
Yes.
I think I've been lucky in that I involve my family in what I do.
Wow.
My sons run different divisions within
Wow.
the company
Wow.
or the mother company. My daughter is still at school, but she comes here and works.
Wow.
And then my wife is also part of the group and participates in different ways.
Yes.
We even have a family group on WhatsApp, but you look at it, you see most of the time we're discussing business. So that's one way to get them involved.
Yes.
Of course, there are times when they rebel and are not interested, but keep the door open for them to be part of it.
Yes.
So even my eldest daughter, she knows that she can be participate in our activities at any given time. So there's no secret formula, but except to involve your children in what you do.
Yes.
Involve your family members in what you do. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I think you've even answered my next question, because I've realized that in the seasons of marriage, the most dangerous season is autumn. And autumn is the harvest time. This is whereby when there's been so much accumulation of wealth, now families break up. And men are usually at the center of it, in that now that's when now the pests come upon them.
Yeah.
And these are young women now who are, they think they're attracted to them, and they're attracted to what they've accumulated.
Yeah.
How would you advise men
There's a
out
technique
there?
to counteract that.
Yes.
And Napoleon Hill is a person who made me think about it more, because in his book called Think and Grow Rich, there's a chapter called Sexual Transmutation.
Wow.
Where he teaches you how to redirect that natural energy away from those distractions, and how to apply it with greater force in your business growth, in your entrepreneurial development, in your professional pursuits. So the idea is to recalibrate, redirect, and reposition that energy and acknowledge it from that distraction to the business. And it's a potent, powerful force.
That one is powerful. Yes. It's powerful, and I would want you to share with men in business.
Yes.
Because it's a challenge of breaking down.
I share it with all the time with my mentees.
Wow.
I talk about it. I have a talk that I can give in my sleep about sexual transmutation.
Yeah.
And I think people benefiting from it.
Be powerful.
Yeah.
Powerful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Look at that camera there, and share with the viewer one final uplifting message.
Yes.
After that, you tell them all your contacts and where they can find you. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much, the viewers. I'll tell you that you can be what you want to be if you focus on you. And I'll tell you that a lion is not does not stop drinking water because there are crocodiles. Don't be scared to run after your dream, after your passion. No, there's a reason why it was put in you. And I'm located at Mogobe Plaza, 3rd floor. That's where Troxy Investment is. That's where the good doctor is. That's where Dr. Bay is, because I graduated as the youngest doctor, hence the name Dr. Bay. So my contact number are 71456031. My orange number is 75219508. And my email is glorimaseko@gmail.com. And anytime I'm at your service.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you
you
did a
very
brilliant
much.
job.
Yes.
You did very well.
Thank you.